of viewers. Hey guys! We are
Hey.
going to wait and see who jumps on with us. Happy Friday night! It has been a hot minute since I've been on here, so welcome back. Super pumped to have Sammy on with me, our first of quite a
I would say
few
feast of many.
ladies' nights in our new series. And we're so excited to bring it to you guys. So when you jump on, say hey. We're going to drop our backstories, our origin stories, if you will. I know I've shared mine before on a video, but if you're new to the channel or just jumping on this video for the first time, we'll share who we are. And Sammy has not done one of these to share her origin story at all yet.
I know. This will be my first time, so I'm pretty excited. Yeah. I'm excited and nervous.
I know, but don't be nervous. It'll be fun. These things are always like so intense because it's like, okay, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? It feels like it's like the same kind of style platforms, but because they're different,
Yes.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to share our backstories. We're going to go over our favorite comic. We're going to talk about what it's like being a female in the comic industry, which I feel will just go off in so many random directions.
Truly, though. Like, it is like a totally different world, especially coming in and like 15 years ago, there were even less female collectors and dealers, and you're kind of coming into this like new age of boss females. As you funnel, if you like the stream, hit the like button. Oh, thanks, Tony.
Right. Yes, and I was gonna say hey in the comments if you're with us.
Say hi. So let's get into it. So I'm Danielle, Nerdy Girl Comics. You guys know me. If you don't, welcome. Get to know me. I have been in this industry for 16 years. And when I came in, I knew nothing at all about comic books. It was all like this new foreign world that I really had a hard time wrapping my head around at first. And as I learned, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like such a great hobby. Hey, Michael.
Hey.
Where it's like this like underground secret society of people where like once you go to your first convention and like once you go on chat boards and like you find this whole community of people, it's just so cool. So share with me your kind of backstory first.
Oh my gosh, my backstory is super interesting. So I just start from the beginning of time.
Yeah. How did you get to where you are now?
So mini backstory from when I was little. My dad would braid my hair every day for school. He was also in the military. So that would be our time together, basically. We would watch Silver Surfer, we would watch X-Men animated series. And those like really stuck with me. And then fast forward a little bit, he would go on like these little deployments and TDYs and stuff. And one time he
That's
came back with a Silver Surfer action figure.
And
so cool. It was like goodbye Ken, hello Silver Surfer. And
Barbie who?
Right. So Silver Surfer and Barbie got married.
Oh my God.
And fast forward to adulthood. So basically I grew up with the shows. Didn't necessarily grow up with comics. And then I met Tony. So when I met Tony, I also found out like, oh, like this guy is just so amazing. But then I found out he was getting deployed for a year and that he was leaving in a couple days. So it was like, you have to really get to know each other in such a short period of time and learn to trust someone right before they deploy for a whole year.
Yeah.
So when we hung out, he was in the process of moving. And he was super nervous to show me that the second master bedroom in his, would you have like 3-bedroom house? It was his room, his little one's room and then this massive comic room. And he
Oh my
was
God.
so nervous to show me
Well,
this
because
room.
like it's like kind of like this nerd thing where you don't know if like a girl is going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Or the reaction I had was like, wait, you sell comic books? You do what? Where it's like this like 50-50 shot of like, how's it gonna go?
Exactly. And so he had like, oh my gosh, at least 20,000 comics when we
Oh
met.
my gosh.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, don't freak out. Like this just must be something like it must be so amazing. Like comic books must be so amazing that you're gonna dedicate this much, spend extra money on rent and whatever else to have
To
all
have
these
this
comic books.
space. Right.
So that's when I really started thinking like, okay, comic books, I have to like learn more about these things. So we packed them all up, spent like days packing them and storing them. And then, fast forwarding to when he was deployed, it was one of those things where you kind of like run out of things to talk about a little bit. So we just like obsessed over talking about comics. And that's when I really fell in love with them and started like researching them and giving myself to do stuff to do
Casts.
between that. So every time he was deployed or sent away, I would start researching like how to grade, and I studied comic grading for 2 years before I even started
Oh
like
my
really
gosh.
grading and selling them. Yeah. So just studying like every aspect of comics for a few years. It just really got me like so consumed and excited about the hobby and pop culture and how you can connect to them emotionally. And that's how I really, really got into comics.
I love that. And
What
now
about
here we
you?
are.
Right?
So I kind of just, yeah, I kind of just fell into it. And it was one of those things where, like, if I was at a show, I had to know what I was talking about because if I had to answer questions or, oh, nice. Guys, we're going to jump in and comment in just a couple minutes. I'm trying to wrap
Mhm.
my head around how you got all those miracles. Brett Morrow is like tripping right now. It was like you have to learn about them if you want to talk about them with people and you want to build relationships and learn like, okay, what should I be looking for if someone walks up to the booth? What do I want to buy? So I really just started paying attention to everything that went on around me. Like I really just, if someone was talking, I was just watching and listening and taking it in, and I was like going through and looking at eBay and looking through guides and just looking through books that we had, and I'm like, okay, what's this one? Why is this one important? Okay. And just kind of like gradually built this database up of like little fun facts that are like hidden away where every once in a while I'm like, oh, I know that.
That's awesome.
um so I know that we both pulled a book. Do we want to comment with some people first? Guys, if you're
Yeah.
just jumping in, hi, hey, how are you? Brent, I see all your comments, friend. We will dive into
Yes. We're
that a
gonna do
little.
a super long Q&A at the end for sure.
Yeah. Um, hey James, hey Ryan, hey Olivia. Let's see. I cashed out a large majority of my 401k. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that have done that. That is definitely a whole topic to dive into. On one of our future episodes is like, how do you invest and buy these books? I feel like that's like a whole entire separate topic to get into.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's a huge one.
yeah, yeah. So I want to share because, like, I really want to dive into like the nitty gritty of like what it's like being a female and the barriers that we've kind of gone up against, the perks of being a female in this industry because it goes both ways. Not gonna lie. um, and let's share our PC books first. All right,
Okay.
so we each pulled to like give something fun because we have to have a show and tell, right?
Okay.
So we each pulled our favorite PC book. Mine, if you follow me, you know what mine is, or you at least have a guess of two. Okay, you go first.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot to introduce myself, but it says on the screen too,
Oh
Sammy
yeah.
from Skeleton Kid Comics. All right. My
Let's
PC
see.
book. I almost didn't share this one today. It's my absolute favorite, and it's the newest to my personal collection. All right. It is Doctor Strange 169.
I love it.
I almost
You've been
didn't
hunting
share
that
this.
one so hard.
I know. I almost didn't share this one because I'm so emotional about this book.
You
So
do love that
I'll show
one.
you closer. So I had to get this one in person. I had to. So I got that during the Torpedo Con in California 2 weeks ago. It actually took me a while to even get that book because I could have gotten that book before I got like X-Men 94 or
Yeah.
Silver Surfer 1, but I just wasn't like emotionally ready to get it.
Your
So
grandma
my
put you onto
personally,
that, right? Yeah.
huh?
Sixth Element knows what's up.
Right? Yes. It is so good. Um, so my connection behind that book is my grandma. She was like my everything. And her favorite superhero is Doctor Strange. Like absolute, like no one, it's like Doctor Strange or nobody.
That's so
I
funny.
still don't know why, but I just remember saying like, seriously, grandma, like why Doctor
Right. Why
Strange?
him?
Of
He's
everyone
so
you could
cool
have, and
though.
yeah, it's like top 10 for her is Doctor Strange. That's it. Like no one else. And anyways, that was the last movie that we watched together. So I got to spend my last days, her last days with her, which was amazing. And we watched
Yeah.
Doctor Strange a lot.
A
A lot,
lot.
a lot.
Do you know
And he's
every
not
line yet?
right, and he's not in much. So you know that means we
That's true.
reran. We reran. So anyways, I didn't want the first appearance of Doctor Strange, where I feel like it's still undervalued and it still is what it is, but the cover doesn't do it for me. And that's
It's so
why,
true.
huh?
It's so true though. The Strange Tales 110 cover. Like
Yeah,
it's
the
so
Human Torch with the, yeah.
yeah.
So it was Doctor Strange 169, his first solo in series. So, and the cover is so amazing.
It's so
I
good.
can't wait to
It
get
really
this
is.
graded, put
Yeah.
it on the wall.
I think Doctor Strange covers in general are undervalued. Like I
Oh,
think they're such sleepers and they have such great artwork on them.
yeah. Hmm.
I think they're super underappreciated. I so want to know when your grandma started reading Doctor Strange. Hey Rage, I didn't even see you
Same.
there. Ah, hi Rage. I want to know, when did your grandma start reading Doctor Strange?
I don't know. I don't know where her love for Doctor Strange
Came from?
started.
Yeah,
I just know that she really liked him a lot.
I love.
So yeah.
Everyone has their superhero, right? I feel
Hmm.
like that's just. He said, "Thank you, you're amazing, Brenton." Aw, okay. So mine is not as sentimental. Mine is more outside of comics. I love history and I love like fun facts. So, and the artwork is just brilliant. I mean, Simon and Kirby, Cap One. So this book is so amazing. And this is easily my favorite book. Like if I were to get rid of all of my books, this one would be the last one to go for sure. Even over Action One. I know Action One is more important, but like Captain America was America's hero.
Hmm.
And that issue is really badass because he's punching Hitler in the face before we went into the war. So it was like a tell to Americans of what was to come. And that's how they used comic books back in the 40s, was ways to share, okay, this is what's going on in the war. We're fighting the Nazis, we're fighting the Japs. Like we're fighting all these people and we need you to understand what's going on, and go buy war bonds and burn paper because we need energy. So this just embodies all of that for me. Hey,
That's
collector.
amazing.
Okay, shoot me a message. So I just love that. Check out the Doctor Strange. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I'll
Um,
definitely have to do that. Do you mind jotting that down? Oh, that's awesome. And you know what? Like, I know Action Comics 1 obviously is like super important, and I know you have it. I know it's I know it's super important for comics. Like in comics, it's super important. But I mean, you might agree, I'm not sure, but being a military family, I feel like Captain America 1, like the history behind that book and
yeah.
like looking back into time, I actually think that's probably for like the US as a whole. I
Oh, for
think in
sure.
America, I think that that book is probably most important
Oh, for
because
sure.
the way that pop culture impacts
Mhm.
everyone today, and we have so many areas of pop culture now, but then
Yeah.
there wasn't that many areas of pop culture. And I feel like that was such a, I don't know, I feel like it must have had such a huge impact, even on morale for Americans then.
Oh, for sure. Because it was like, get excited. This is where we are. We're beating them, or we took out this group of people. So
Mm.
I, for sure, we're coming home. Like, can you imagine like the covers when, hey, Ionicus, Prime One. Ah, that's amazing. I hope you held on to that one. Um, Prime One. I don't think I know him. Congrats. That's a sick find.
That is
I have
awesome.
never had a find like that before. I've had some great finds, but I've never found a book like that in the wild like that at a crazy good deal like that. Congrats. Beautiful. Um, okay. So, shall we move on and get into the tea?
Yes.
All right. So, what do you feel when you came into comics? Because I think we came in so differently, right? Like, I came in before the social media era, like, all that didn't exist. So, it was so different. So, when you first came in, what do you feel your biggest barrier was?
I feel like when I first came in, it was one of those things where it just felt like you know the statement of respect is earned and never given.
Yeah.
I felt that super hard, but in all of the ways, because everyone has Google at their fingertips, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, posts are fun and anyone can research anything about comics and put it in a post, but can you sit in front of a camera live and have a fluent conversation?
Right.
And
Right.
so when I first started posting, I didn't have any respect. And even like we would get like super creepy DMs. I can't even tell you how long my block list is. And like someone would like send me like a super weird message or ask like, hey baby, can I get a picture? And I'd be like, here you go, Tony, have fun. He would take a selfie and say, sorry, I'm taken. Or like sometimes he would be like, oh, actually I'm a dude, you know?
Psych.
He had so much fun, right? And of course these people get blocked. But you know, the first couple lives I noticed I started basically like earning that respect, like, okay, this girl actually knows what she's talking about. She knows a lot about comics in all areas and not just posting about it or writing about it, because anyone can write about comics,
Yeah.
really.
Which is so funny because, like, we were just talking about this earlier. Like, that statement in itself, it's like, oh, you can actually talk about comic books?
I've heard that so
Uh,
many times.
yeah, of course. You think because I'm a girl, I don't know comic books? I have the same knowledge you have.
Yeah. What about you?
Um, I think that it was just thinking that while there are still, honestly, to this day, some dealers out there who won't deal with me because I'm a girl. And I struggle with that so hard, right? Because like my money spends the same as yours does. Does it really matter if I'm a guy or a girl? Um, and so it's just funny to me where I feel like there was this mindset that comic books were like the guys club. And I guess in some senses it's true, right? Because like the husbands travel to shows, that they set up at shows. A lot of the wives stay home. They're not as involved. And so it's like, guys, you know I'm as sarcastic and foul as you are, right? You know, I can spend the same money you can, right? So I remember like walking up to booths in the very beginning and people just kind of, and I was young, I was like 22. So I think it was a combination of both being young and being female, where it's like, well, is she really going to buy anything? And it's kind of where I got the mindset of like, I don't care who someone is when they walk up to my booth. I treat everyone the same because you don't know who's who. Misha loves your cup. Hey, Misha.
Hey.
Hey,
oh,
pretty.
Thanks so much, Collector P. Thanks, Misha.
Respect what you both are doing. Yes, Collector. So yeah, I think that it's just letting people understand that like I can spend money. I can be sarcastic. I'm one of the guys that sits up at the show, and like when I started doing shows, thanks so much, late night. When I started setting up at shows by myself, I was just like, listen, you want to buy books or you don't want to buy books? Because this is what you got. We are where we are.
It's so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was it like for you on Instagram when you first started up?
So when I joined Instagram, I didn't join for comics. I actually didn't even know that there was like this whole comic book community on Instagram until I was at a show and someone was like, oh, and I'd posted like a couple random books on my page. And someone was like, oh, you're that nerdy girl from Instagram. And I'm like, huh? And that's where Nerdy Girl Comics came from. And I made a bet at the show with one of my friends that like I would get to 1,000 followers first. And obviously I like way surpassed that at this point. But Instagram was a lot more welcoming, I think, than shows were. Don't get me wrong. There's like always some people out there that throw shade, but I think that that just happens with success. And if you're not getting shade, then you still need to keep being successful, because when you start getting hate and shade, that's when you know you made it. And I know you feel that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah, girl.
How about for you when you joined?
It was definitely rough in the beginning, like I'd mentioned, but as I started going live more, that definitely began to change. And I remember getting like so many like comments or messages saying, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you can't hear me.
I can hear you now.
Oh, I think I got too far. There we go.
Back into it.
I'm like, chilling.
She got comfortable.
I did. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. It got a lot better, and I've heard so much of, oh my gosh, I can't believe you know so much about comics.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I impressed you.
I'm so glad the fact that I do this for a living and that I know what I'm talking about impresses you.
Every time no kidding. Every time I walk into a shop or like at a con, there was one experience I had, and Tommy's like, show me who it was. I won't go in super big detail. I didn't show him who it was until afterwards, but there was a booth. Yeah, there was a booth, and I'm not going to shout out who it was. It was like at a South Carolina thing.
Yeah, me that name.
And I'm looking at his wall books, and I was looking at X-Men 4. And I was like, ooh, can I look at X-Men 4? And he was like, oh, sure, it's in high grade condition. And I like immediately saw it had rusted staples. It was not. It was in low grade condition, which is why I was wanting it, because I have a low grade budget for my personal collection.
I just love you.
And that's why I wanted to look at it.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's in high grade condition. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I take a look at it? And
Yeah.
he was like basically like out of the bag. And I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, how much are you asking for it? And it was like this ridiculous dollar amount. And I was like, whoa, well, I got to see this thing. You know, it must be
What am
absolutely
I
gorgeous.
missing?
What am I missing? And so he's like, what would you grade it at? And I was like, and I was looking at it. I got my gloves out and he was like, oh shit, you know? He was like, oh, I screwed up, you know? I got my gloves out because I never will touch someone's books that are expensive
But you
with my
shower
bare
with your
hands.
gloves too.
Yeah, because I always moisturize my hands. They get so dry. So I'm not going to touch someone's books without gloves on. I know, you're probably laughing.
No glove, no love.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get you that shirt with a Nerdy Girl logo on the front and that on the back.
Right. So I'm like, okay. I like, you know, put my gloves on, and then he was just like, he was like, oh shit, you know, that's what his face said. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay. I was like, not to be ignorant or anything like that, but there's rusted staples on this. There's a tear on the back. I mean, it's got staining, and there's a subscription crease. And I was like talking through all these like major defects I saw. I was like, at max. I was like, because he asked me what I felt like it was at. So that just made me feel like I had free range to give my opinion after he
So let me tell you.
Right? I was like, I don't think this book is more than a 4.0. And he was like, oh, you grade comics? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, don't you?
And he was like, oh, well, it still is what it is. I'm not budging on the price. And I was like, that's okay. That's fine. You know, good luck with her. And the conversation went a little longer than that. He wasn't super nice, but it definitely wasn't. I think he had told me it was like very fine near mint or something. Like it was an I know. With the price.
Your heart.
Yeah. And he was like, well, what would you pay for it? And I like, you know, gave him the number that I would feel comfortable paying for. And I was like, I know you guys like have a high cost of being here and stuff like that. So, you know, I understand if you're asking more than that. And he was like, oh, I would never charge that much for that book. And I was like, that's fine. But he had it priced at like a 9.0. So, but I think he was being firm on it because he thought I didn't know anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Until you schooled him. I'm just saying. Sometimes people need to know.
That stuff doesn't happen often, thankfully. Usually I get the other experience where it's like, oh, you know about comics? Like, I never come across women that know stuff about comics. Like, let's chat. Like, what do you like? And then I tell them like, oh, I'm an emotional collector, and you know, talk about artists. And like usually it's like the better experience than the other way around.
I think
his milk cups on the reel.
I think probably 85% of the time it's positive, I would say.
Mm-hmm. How about you at cons?
So I don't get to walk around a lot unless I go just for fun. And I'm like, I scroll wall books. I was talking to my friend earlier and I was like, what am I supposed to do at a show? Like, I can't tell you the last time I like dug. I'm like, I guess it would be fun to do that now. Bye, James.
Bye, James.
For hanging with us. But like people will say, oh, or I'll say, not so much people will say, they'll ask my opinion if a book is upgradable more than anything. Because I have like this super keen eye for finding defects. And I'll find them in like seconds, and people will stare at a book for like minutes. And I'm like, you saw that, right? Did you see that crease here? Or, you know, it breaks color right here. So those are the kind of things that I do. I'm like, you really shouldn't have this on your wall right now. You should be subbing that. If we're friends. If we're not friends, I'm buying it. I'm pressing it myself.
I feel like it can be overwhelming trying to take on the concept of grading.
Right.
But I think it's important to at least know like basically like dirty grading, like eyeballing those strong defects. Like if this book has this, it's no more than that.
Yeah. I feel like you need like that foundation always if you're going to go to a show, especially if you're looking at books with any value. You should know, like, okay, a centerfold detached is, I think it's like a 5.0 or 6.0. I'm going to keep spamming in the chat for everyone to hit the like.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, friends. Hit the like.
Hey.
Subscribe to Sammy and Tony's YouTube. Sixth Element. Own it, friend. Own it.
Hey, thanks, Ryan.
We'll flash his. Brent Morrow. Thanks, friends.
Hey,
we
thanks.
appreciate you guys. Now there's 12. Hey! We're moving on up. Thanks, Misha. So you want to dive into some Q&A?
Yeah.
What do you think? All right, let's hear it, friends. Drop them. This is what we came for. Really, we just wanted you to know who we were. But I think that Sammy and I both feel the same in that we love getting down on some Q&As.
Oh, yeah. We got asked earlier, what's our favorite X-Men? Mine's definitely Storm.
You know, I'm going to go with cliche Wolvie. Like, he's so badass.
I was going to guess Wolverine for you.
He will, like, cut you. And I'm all about that. Don't cross him. He'll come for you.
Right. All right. What questions do you guys have for us?
I'm scrolling back through now to see if we missed anything.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
Ooh, Iron Man or Captain America? You can only save one.
Iron Man or Captain America?
Yeah, you can only save one.
I'd say Captain America.
Same. Okay. What are your Grail books? Hulk smash the like. Thanks, McKenna. Appreciate you, friend. Thanks, Ionicus.
Grail book would be, I would love, of course, down a Captain America #1. I leaned back again and got comfortable. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Captain America 1. Giant Size X-Men 1. I think that was a very important book in X-Men and comics because Chris Claremont killed it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the diversity he brought to comics during that time and to the X-Men was definitely much needed. And I not only love it for Storm, but I love it because of that as well.
Yeah, great foresight on that, right? Like, to make it so just such a great array.
What about you? What is a Grail book that you have left to get?
So I would really love a high grade Amazing Fantasy 15. And I'm probably priced out of it right now because that book has just gone so crazy. But I would love a really high grade copy of AF-15. I think it's so important. It really did like change comics, and it took us and opened up the door for where we are now in the Marvel universe. I mean, MCU would not be what it was if they didn't bring this crazy character to life that kind of paved the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's be real. If we were hanging on the hinges of Fantastic Four, the MCU would not be what it is today. I said what I said. I hope City sees this.
Oh my gosh.
Prime or Rodimus Prime?
Optimus. Yeah, Optimus Prime. Yeah. Let's go OG here.
Greatest fear in this hobby could be in buying or selling. Okay. What's your greatest fear?
Getting a Hulk 180.
Missing the coupon.
That book's not going to come into my house anymore. Tony's going to have to sneak it in.
You have to share your backstory with that book, though, because like everyone doesn't get it. You gotta get the insider. This is like her, like,
my book.
what do you call it? Like, it's like your thorn.
Yeah, this thorn in my side is a Hulk 180.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've always had that book's back. I don't know why it's so against me. I've always been team Hulk 180 for Wolvie, and it's just always kicked me in the butt. So
It's because the book knows 181 is really it. And it's
yeah.
like, stop believing in me. I'm going to show you why you shouldn't choose me.
That book has every copy of that book that has come into this house has been jacked up in some way. A coupon clipped out, a page missing, a panel cut out. Like one of them we had would basically look like it was used as an art project on the inside. One was used as a coloring book. You know, just every Hulk 180 that has come into this house has just been a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
When the last one we had come in, I was so paranoid about it. We had like 5 eyes laid on this book before it went into CGC.
It's so true. We all checked that book. Even me.
Yep. Went through. Went to get graded. A page is missing. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh.
Like, how did this even happen?
Yeah, the person I got it from like happily took it back because I couldn't even believe that it had a page missing.
Right.
Because they had themselves and their presser go through it as well. It was insane.
Madness.
What about your greatest fear in the hobby?
You know what? A crash. A crash. Or like things going up so fast that like you can't keep up. For me, it's like about the market moving too fast in one direction, whether it like goes up too fast. And I think another thing that I don't know if it's a fear, but it's like uneducated buyers coming in and not getting resourceful information and good information that helps them stay in the hobby and be like a part of the hobby long term, not just someone that comes in as like, oh shit, I got burned, I'm out. I don't like seeing that happen to people.
Oh, same. And I think, like I said, like shared my experience with the con thing. I think it's very easy to get burned in the hobby if you don't know where to go for whether it's advice or check prices
Values, which is like a great segue into our next question. Which sales site do y'all prefer to use? I'm GP analysis all day, every day.
I use GPA as well.
It is the best $10 a month you can spend if you don't have it already. It's so helpful and so resourceful. You can use it on your phone when you're at shows if you want to check data. It doesn't pull everything, so it's not always like a full picture. If there's private sales going on or some of the auction houses don't report to GP analysis, but it's a great tool to at least give you a guide of where stuff should be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, online, just Google GP analysis and the website will pop up.
Any conventions coming up for you guys? Hang on, I've stepped away for 1 second to let my dog in.
Oh, you're good. Yes, we just left TorpedoCon. That was 2 weeks ago. And then I also work in the Whatnot Comics department. There's 3 of us. We each have our own little department in comics. So it's super fun. So I'll be there at the New York City Comic Con.
That's the big one. It's like no big deal. She'll be at New York Comic Con, friends.
And Tony will be there representing Skeleton Key. Then I'm not sure if Tony will be able to come with me, but I'm also going to be set up with Whatnot and my crew at C2E2 in December.
That's exciting. Maybe I'll make it to C2E2. I was gonna go to MegaCon next weekend, but it's a little crazy down here, so I'm probably staying home. Hopefully I'll make it to New York Comic Con. I would love to make it to C2E2.
Mhm.
Um, I know Jason wants to get me up to New Hampshire for Little Giants, which if you're in that area, go check out that show. It's a great show. I just don't know if I'll be there.
Oh, I need to write that down.
Yep. Um, Hopefully. Otherwise, I'll keep bringing live streams to you guys and connecting with you guys that way. Um, did you ladies create a marketing plan when you decided to go full time into comics? Hey, Holy Grail. I personally did not. I've just kind of this entire last couple years, I've just learned as I've gone. Um, I have no background in marketing. I just love people and I love being on social media. So for me, switching over to like these platforms was an easy transition because my favorite part of conventions is getting to talk to people and connect with people. So having this platform to still be able to do that with was like for me, it's like, oh, no brainer. How about you?
Um, I had taken a lot of time to like learn comics. Like I mentioned in the beginning, from the books to studying the grading guide and just like everything you could possibly study about comics before I even dived in with Tony from the business standpoint, because he actually had, I think, about 7 years of experience selling comics before we had even met a few years ago. So I definitely wanted to like jump alongside him, where he had been like deployed so much, and kind of learn on my own. So when I personally started, I wouldn't say it was like a marketing plan, but it was definitely a plan that helped guide me, if
Well, and
that
you
makes
do
sense.
your social media fast.
Oh, on Instagram,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like in terms of like coming on to like social media and like doing it full time, like you grew your social fast.
Yeah, I feel like too, I don't want to say COVID helped that. I would
No,
say
no. I will say it's
everybody,
like COVID was like a really bad thing, but in
yeah,
collectibles, it was really great.
it definitely taught people and made a lot of people realize that we need each other more than we thought. Because I noticed like humans in general were very distant from each other before
Yeah.
COVID. And then once COVID happened, it was like all we have is each other.
Right. Right.
And through quarantine and weaning off of quarantine and then everyone still kind of being at home, I feel like bonding with everyone and having something to
Yeah.
connect through, helped us grow, because we are just basically making our community of people that we were just all in it together, basically,
Yeah.
if that makes
Well,
sense.
no, it makes total sense. I think that, and I think it changed the way that people view collecting and how they can collect. Like, you don't
Hmm.
have to be at a show to buy comic books. You don't have to buy comic books on eBay. You can do it through different live streams and auctions and
Hmm.
connections that you make on different people's pages. So I think as much as COVID really sucks and it's really just sad situation.
Yeah,
It's so great in collecting industries. Um, Action Comics one story. Okay, I'll be really fast with this one. My Action one, I 2 years ago bought an action big collection that had an Action 1 to 400 in it, like a complete run. And I sold
big.
that Action one. Yeah, that was like so crazy to like hold an Action Comics one raw and like flip through the pages and smell the pages, because for me, you're not a nerd unless you smell old paper. Like they
I
all
agree.
every comic book smells different. No two smell the same, like depending on what state it come from, what part of the country it came from, what year it was published. Like it's so good. You
I
can like
agree.
feel the stories and history of them. Um, and I sold that Action one. I had a customer that had been looking for one, and we kind of worked out a deal where if I get this collection and it grades this, then I'll sell it for this, and if it gets this, I'll sell it for that. And I was able to make that sale. At the same time, a longtime friend had a copy and was looking to sell it. And so I was in San Diego when we were finalizing the deal. So I flew from San Diego back to Florida to drop my daughter off because we were there together. And I flew back to the West Coast to go meet this person, to pick up the book, to fly back home because I was not shipping that book through the mail. So it was like the biggest 48-hour whirlwind of East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast travel I've ever done.
Wow. I mean, hashtag worth it.
Right. Sammy's Grail Comics. Bren, are you suggesting a name?
I would. Oh, yeah, we did talk about the Grails, didn't we? I was going to say GSX1.
No. That's sad, McKenna. Hey, Alex, he bought a book and found out it was missing 2 pages and then got ghosted.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Well, Sammy's going to be biased on this answer. What's your favorite platform to buy and sell on?
My favorite platform to buy on. So I'm a huge 90s collector, and I will buy a 90s book wherever I can find it. Online, offline. It's super exciting when you find them offline because I'll be like, "Hey Tony, look at this," and I'll like be shining it, and like everyone around will be like, "Oh my god, this girl must be new," you know. This poor girl, I pat her on the head.
Bless her heart.
I know. I can't help it. I love 90s books. They're so extra. So I collect 90s books. I will buy them wherever. Because like to me, like the value isn't like going to shoot up anytime soon. I don't think ever, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, X-Men ones you could have all the time, all day long. Like I know Tony can
that's true.
for like nothing, and now 9/8 are like over $100.
Yeah, touche.
200.
Touche. I would say big books that are sentimental. For me, I actually have to find that book in the wild. That's just my own weird thing. So I don't usually buy my big stuff that I personally like, I'm emotionally attached to online.
Yeah.
So I guess anywhere. I've been burned a lot on eBay, so I don't recommend eBay, but that's my own personal thing because I've been burned so much there. Yeah. I would say Instagram or Whatnot. I know Nerdy Girl's waiting for it.
I was waiting for you to drop it. What's your favorite place to sell?
My favorite, I would say it's still Instagram.
Right?
Yeah, Instagram and Whatnot. I love doing the hype of the auctions on Whatnot is just so much fun. Mm-hmm. Doing the $1 start bid and then letting the room control what that book is worth in that moment.
And people get so excited to do that too. Like I can do that just personally, where like for my expensive books, I like Instagram. For my less expensive books, I have a lot of fun on Whatnot because like people get so caught up in the bidding and you get people chatting about it and like going back and forth. And it's just such a fun environment. And you can play music.
Oh, absolutely. We need to do another sale together because we did it on Instagram where we did like the champagne thing, the champagne books.
Oh, yeah.
And we did it in person on Instagram. That was so much fun. And then when we were hanging out in our PJs doing like those other fun books, like the lightning auction, that was fun. Yeah.
Which, by the way, guys, we're teaming up tomorrow morning at 9:30 on the Skeleton Keys account on Whatnot for round of auctions.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do all Silver Age and Bronze Age books, so.
Some horror in there. My greatest fear, so go follow her so you get an alert when we jump on. My greatest fear is losing passion from getting too deep. You know, I think that you always just have to keep like a level head about that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Keep a level head. I don't know if a bubble burst is going to come. I just think we're going to have a pullback. What do you think?
I don't see a bubble bursting happen, but I feel like with everything corrects itself in areas that need correcting. And I don't know, this is like personal opinion. I won't get into the weeds of it, but I feel like variants where there's like 50,
Don't get me
I
started.
feel like variants are a little wild. And I feel like if the market was to correct itself in any area, I feel like it would be in that area.
And you know how I feel about variants. I mean, outside of like a couple super, super important books, I think that variants are ridiculous with the prices they sell for. I think that you can buy like legit keys and mini keys for the same price you're buying a book that came out a few weeks ago is selling for.
Absolutely.
Any disasters with shipping books for you guys? I mean, the post office like treats packages like they're footballs and soccer balls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I've had like, right? I've had like some books come in with like corner dings and things like that. I've had a few packages like come in with like cracked slabs. I feel like sometimes no matter how much protection you give a book, like they're just so offensive with packages.
I know.
Like it is offensive.
I've had boxes look like I've had boxes. We've had a few times where they have like
ran them over.
Yeah, or footprints on them, like they've been stomped or kicked.
They're literally treating it like a soccer ball. They're kicking it across the floor.
Yeah. Or the ones that are stuck in the mailbox and you're like, okay,
yeah,
it's the comic's life or my mailbox's life, you know?
Like, can you get out of your truck and park in front of my house and just walk those few steps and just leave them on my front porch? And can you just be kind of courteous? Just a little courteous.
Yeah, preach, girl.
Like, seriously, it's infuriating. And they keep raising their rates. Let me get off my soapbox. I've had a couple packages go missing, but nothing like super, super crazy. You?
Like as far as damages?
Skeleton.
Was it template skeleton? Oh, that's fine.
I got curious about collecting graded games. What's next? I'll go back to you. Whatnot is an app. Yep, you can download it. I gave my hint for what I think is next when I was on Reggie's show the other day, and I think it's going to be sealed VHS. What do you think is the next big thing that people are going to go gaga for?
Now that you say that, I kind of agree, and it's only because I saw what was it? Someone had posted a movie that was on auction, and it was going nuts, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so crazy."
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, if you grew up in like the 80s and 90s, and now even like 70s kids, those sealed VHSs in first print are not easy to find. So I think that they're already getting kind of expensive for what they are, but I can see them continuing to go.
Mm-hmm.
That nostalgia factor is there.
Mm-hmm.
The rarity factor is there, and like that's what you need for a market to move. I don't know if they have like a thanks collector, Suicide Squad. Wait, I have a question. Is Suicide Squad did they reboot it again? Or is it like a continuation? Is like a sequel or a reboot? Does anyone know? You can answer that.
I haven't seen it.
Did you see the previews?
Oh, hang on. Oh, Tony sent me a screenshot that I had RBF. I always have RBF.
Me too.
I can't even help it.
KFC or KFC, Chick-fil-A, or Popeyes. Oh, it is a sequel? Okay, I'm going to have to watch the first one.
KFC or Popeyes.
That's not even it. Or Chick-fil-A. I'm all set on Chick-fil-A. They have good waffle fries. Their chicken sucks.
I was going to say, out of the three, because I have celiac disease, I can eat Chick-fil-A because they fry their fries in a separate fryer. They do. There's most of Chick-fil-A's are gluten friendly, which means if you have celiac disease, you can eat there. They put their grilled chicken in a separate area on a separate grill, and they cook their fries in a separate fryer so they don't touch the chicken nuggets. Proof out. Then they have a gluten-free bun, which most restaurants actually don't have a gluten-free bun. You're welcome, anyone that probably does not have a gluten allergy.
Probably does not. Oh, look. See, I think that's why VHS is next. There is so much nostalgia connected to VHS tapes that it only makes sense. I never had anything disappear. Oh, snap. Oh, that's fucked up, Ionicus. I'm sorry I just said that word, but friends, this is not a PG show. I don't know if you know me. If you know me, you know. I don't know how to be PG. I have a cup that says good mom with bad habits. It's perfect. I was like the founder of my local Bad Moms Club.
Oh my gosh, you know what we need to do next time? For our next live, we need to talk about our time together.
Yes. Okay, so we'll have some photos loaded up, maybe even some videos of us being just ridiculous that we can like cut to. So we're gonna plan to stream every 2 weeks. So she is making me be consistent. Our next White Castle, he's so funny with these questions. Our next stream will be over on Skeleton Keys channel. Let me show you guys. I should have wrote like, oh, you know what? Hang on, I can fix it. I can make it.
Oh yeah, we both do Instagram sales. I do them monthly. We've always done like the once a month Instagram sale thing.
Here's her YouTube. So go hit that subscribe button, friends.
Hey.
And then here is Sammy's Insta. You guys know my nerdy_girl_comics. You guys know who I am. And then here's her YouTube again. So go hit the subscribe on her channel. Let's get her to 500.
Hey, thanks.
And share this video with your friends. Tag your friends, share with your friends. You know, let's get me to 1,000, her to 500, so then we can smash some more goals. We both do Insta sales. Yep. I need to get more. Someone's got to ask the non-comic questions. All right. Last question of the night. White Castle or Crystals? Crystals is garbage. White Castle.
What's Crystals?
It's like a knockoff White Castle.
Oh, I've never eaten White Castle.
It's because you're gluten-free.
Oh, they don't have gluten-free options?
They're also in like the Northeast usually. They're like Jersey, New York, that area there. I heard that they have one in Disney now, and they have like a $3,000 meal that comes with like 250 burgers.
Are you serious?
I don't even know who's ordering that.
Is that for a wedding?
Right. If you want catering. Because like even if you go with like a group of people, who can eat that many burgers?
That better come with delivery. If I have to pay $3,000 for a meal, I am not showing up to the facility.
You better show up at my door with all the things.
Right, and they better set my table.
With all of the accompaniments.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh, I didn't know they've been around 100 years. That's dope. Hey, kudos to them for a company making it that long.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so guys, we made it through our first episode.
That was so much fun.
I can't wait to do this again. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So we'll be doing First Fridays on my page, and 2 weeks later, dropping it on the Skeleton Keys YouTube page. So go subscribe. Give a follow on the Whatnot app if you download it and you're not already on there. I'm Nerdy Girl Comics. She is Skeleton Key Comics. Obviously, my better half for streaming.
This has been so much fun.
And come join us tomorrow morning, 9:30 over on Whatnot on the Skeleton Key Whatnot account. All right. Thanks, friends.
Awesome.
Yay. Happy Friday, friends. Good
Hey,
night.
see you guys.
Bye.